we kind of sneak it past them with these cat videos, and then we actually break it down and start talking about the fundamentals of libertarianism.
Yeah, and the way that makes so much sense. Like a lot of
Like,
sense.
hey, here's a cat, but no, that's the wrong number. We're talking about libertarianism today.
I'm running for president.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Hello, viewers. Welcome to our podcast, the Liberty Boys podcast.
AKA LibChat, and I am also here. Well, I guess this is kind of weird I interrupted you, but
It's very weird.
I gotta take the spotlight here while I can, because you're the real powerhouse of this dynamic duo. I'm Max, and I'm here with the Dylan Allman. I guess he can introduce himself by his alias.
That's a good, I mean, because my Twitter handle is at the Dylan Allman, so I think you did pretty good there.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess the D was left out of your birth name, but yeah. This is Max and Dylan.
At Max Eckert.
At Max Eckert on Twitter. Catch me. I'm usually just retweeting what the Dylan Allman is saying, but
I think
do
you've
post
retweeted me
some-
twice.
I post some original content, some real Max Eckert OG stuff, but
Totally.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
You've got that one, the one pinned tweet about war. It's got like 19 favorites. It's pretty good, dude. Or
Dude,
likes.
If that honestly, like, I didn't think it'd get that much, but if I got like over 20, I'd probably do a giveaway for all 538 of my followers.
Oh, I just checked it out, dude. It just hit 20.
Did it really?
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
It did. That's weird. Did you not like it before this? Oh wow. I'm not sure if I want to do this show anymore.
Yeah, we all want to do this show.
Are there a bunch of people in here?
Yes, I have a bunch of cats behind me, and they are very liberty reaching cats, and they like liberty.
Anyway,
So let's
to kind of digress here. This is the Liberty Bros, aka LibChat, and I guess Dylan, you can kind of tell us about your knowledge and possible backgrounds in this thought process, because it really is more of an ideology than a party per se.
oh yeah.
You definitely come from a more conservative standpoint than I do. You're a little bit more right-leaning libertarian, from what I can tell. Would that be right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm not by any means liberal, but I do have a
Classic
couple.
liberal.
Yeah, very very similar. I do believe in all of the freedoms and rights that libertarianism does stand for, but also I like to incorporate some community efforts to help those in need also.
That's good. That's good. I
Yeah,
agree with-
that's real swell. Yeah.
Okay. So I agree with that. There needs to be things that to put out there for the people in need. It just doesn't necessarily need to be this huge program created by the federal government. That would be something more on an individual basis, like for the states or on a local level that the people have created. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And what I feel libertarianism does a good job of is kind of taking into account possible donations and community-funded charities to help those in need, which does go a long way. But I do feel there should be not a safety net per se, but something there to be able to kind of help those rebound more than catch and hold, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be things put in place that can definitely help people get on their feet and give them incentive to make something for themselves instead of having these programs that pretty much just give the people that are less fortunate everything, to the point where they don't have incentive to do anything, because they're better off not doing anything, and that is a big problem, I think.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. And I guess from that point, I mean, would you want to talk about your involvement in, I guess, the front runner Gary Johnson's campaign? I know you have a lot more direct involvement with that than I do.
As I'm sure a lot of people listening will know, I have a pretty large following on Twitter. And because of that, I was contacted by some of the people that are in charge of different parts of the campaign. There is the director of the Illinois campaign for Gary Johnson, and he contacted me to be part of their team for running their official Twitter account for the state campaign. So I just started up on that earlier this week. Yesterday, actually. It's pretty early, but I've been doing that. I've also been, I mean, that's really the official thing that I've been doing. I've been in on one of the conferences so far, and there's a lot of other things that people can do to volunteer, like when you sign up on his website, if you go to johnsonwell.com and then click on the volunteer tab, you type in all your information, and you're put in this database, which has a lot of people so far. For Illinois, I get those mixed up. They have over 2,000 people that have already volunteered just for that state. And so the volunteers will call the other volunteers, well, the people that officially work for the campaign, they will call the volunteers and ask them, hey, what would you like to do? They'll give them options like, do you want a yard sign? Do you want these pamphlets to go door to door? And pretty much they'll figure out what they want to do to help out with the campaign. And so that's really good. It's just taken a little while because the Gary Johnson campaign is a lot smaller in size than Hillary or Trump, so it's taken a little while for people to get in touch with those volunteers, since there is so many of them that wanted to volunteer. I mean, 2,000 in Illinois alone. If that was the case in every state, that'd be like 100,000 people that need to be called. So, I mean, that's just something to think about.
If we could get an online collective, I mean, to be even anything close to what Bernie Sanders had, I mean, love him or hate him, he was able to really attract the what I feel the online cause, I guess you'd call it, from especially the millennial age group. And he was, I know, really important on Twitter. He was he was the main political figure on, did I say Twitter?
Yep.
I meant probably Twitter too, but I mean Reddit.
Twitter too. When did that come out?
Yesterday. It's actually on a private server. I can give you login info for after this.
Oh, sweet. We'll do that afterwards.
No, but he had a huge following on Reddit, and his own subreddit really did a good job, I think, of pushing his name and really working as a community to get the message across. And these are pretty young people, keep in mind. But if we could get something like that going on for Gary Johnson and the libertarian cause in general, I think that would be a huge step, and really assist us in trying to get Gary Johnson on the stage and get that 15% that he really, really needs to be able to do that.
I really think there is a strong chance of that, because just with all of the scandal and the divisiveness between the GOP and the Democratic Party, especially coming out of the conventions with all the stuff that went on, and the fact that Trump says crazy things all the time, I really think there's a strong chance. And Gary just came out with this new campaign. It was called 15 for 15.
Oh yeah, I think I saw.
You sign up
for that.
and you pledge to donate $15 on the 15th of August, and they're trying to get to 100,000 pledges. So at that, he'll get $1.5 million on that day. And so he's come out with that. It was kind of similar to the whole $23 thing that Bernie Sanders did.
Yeah, I think I remember that kind of blowing up.
Yeah. So he's doing stuff like that, and then also they have the CNN town hall on the third, which is pretty big, and a lot of people are organizing. I was invited to like a Facebook group to be a part of the Twitter bomb or whatever they say.
Oh wow, you're popular,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, so many Facebook events. It's getting way out of hand.
I don't really get invited to things. I just kind of awkwardly push my way in, and then I'm like, "Hey, I'm here."
So you got to have over 1,000 followers on Twitter before that'll happen.
Dude, I feel like I have some good content and some good stuff to say.
But you don't ever post anything, so.
Well, I don't. Okay, I occasionally post while I'm at work. Usually during my lunch break and stuff, because I do have to have a normal person job. But I mean,
Yeah,
don't we all, right?
But I mean, what's more important, right? Like working a full-time job or tweeting about politics? That's the real question here.
Absolutely, and so I believe
It's
in
tweeting about politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a strong believer in capitalism, I have to stick with the job, but I will occasionally tweet. I know I'm bad about it, but it's because I don't feel like anyone listens, and that's a very sad thing to say. But
It's okay.
Of course, I have 23 favorites now after you retweeted me. And that's been only a few minutes.
Yeah. You gotta get that good clickbait, you know. Or I mean, that's not really the right terminology for Twitter, but.
Oh no, I think it is. You're hacking the system, bro.
You gotta post something that catches the public eye, like.
Well, I have 491 impressions today.
Whoa, dude! Guess how much I have. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it.
I don't want you to say it.
Okay, good. I'm not even. 50,000. But I mean, I'm not even gonna say it because that just sounds really douchey, you know. But
oh my gosh, are we already running on 12 minutes? Good lord.
I mean, neither one of us are running for president.
You're not?
I mean, like I could. Actually, neither one of us could. But
if we combined our ages, we could definitely stand a chance.
Would we? Yeah, we would. Stand a chance. What if that was a thing? We could run as dual presidents?
It's like, yeah, you get both of us. That might come out a little weird.
Yeah, we're in a very strong partnership.
Very, very strong, but
with Jesus.
There's always room for Jesus.
But hey, talk about your history in being.
Oh, you made me sound so remarkable.
Being a part of. Well, I mean, people need to know kind of a backstory about where our ideologies are coming from and the things that we've looked at and studied and slept in and showered with.
Whoa. Okay. Getting back to the point here.
The future.
I guess.
Oh, okay.
Back to the future. Yeah. No. I've had. What do I even like? I don't have an extensive history per se, but I don't even know where to kind of.
That was probably not a good choice
begin.
of words, but.
An extensive history.
Just talk about how you came to have the views that you have about libertarianism.
Okay, that's a more comprehensive question to answer, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not very good at talking.
As far as libertarianism goes, I come from Republican roots. I definitely, whenever it was even McCain against Obama and Romney versus Obama, I definitely probably would have gone with either one of the Republican candidates. And it's not that I was strongly campaigning for either one, but I did have very strong opinions supporting each one. But that's because I wasn't really too knowledgeable at the time. I couldn't vote for the McCain election. I wasn't old enough yet. But whenever it was Romney against Obama, that was the first time I had really ever understood libertarianism. And I had heard of people like Ron Paul before, and that really caught my eye. And I guess it was just more internet talk and hearsay that he was really somewhat of a Bernie Sanders figure, but on the other end, he really stood for his beliefs and values, except instead of socialism, that was libertarianism and the freedom of the people to do and carry out their lives as they please without necessarily having government interference. And the more I thought about that, I'm like, that's really something I agree with more than republicanism. And that kind of led me to analyze why was I identifying as a Republican even, because they have values that even I don't hold. So Ron Paul was really the first politician to strike my attention with libertarianism. And going into the 2012 election, sorry, it took me a sec there. I was stuck between Romney and Obama whenever it came down to it, and I was like, after, at first I was kind of for Romney, but then as we kind of progressed, I'm just like, I don't know anymore. I don't know if I like having that much money being funneled in. I don't know if I even like what he stands for. I was just going for what the party was wanting. So that was actually led me to the first time to even see or hear about the name Gary Johnson and his running.
It's a good name.
It is. Have you heard of the guy before?
Hey, I just wanted to, when you were talking about Ron Paul, I know this is kind of lame, but like, listen to this. Ron politician. Yeah? Good? All right, keep going.
Dude.
I could not get that out of my mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so that was the first time I had learned about Gary Johnson. I looked him up. He's always been a guy who's just told the public, hey, just Google me.
Yeah, there was a 2-day period I saw where there's just a stat that I read where he was like the most Googled person, like a 2-day period in 2012.
He's really the only politician that'll straight up tell you to Google them. Most of them, like Clinton and Trump, just want you to stay off Google.
Yeah, because they're like, I want you to accept what I'm saying about myself as a fact. And Gary Johnson's like, I want you to get all of the opinions, all of the views about me, and I want you to form your own opinion, which is why I admire him and the libertarian values in general, because they're not about throwing everything in your face. They're not about, which is essentially a cult, because not to the extreme views, but when a Republican or especially like Hillary Clinton, she will straight up tell you it a lie, and she will say it so many times to the point where her followers will only listen to her and believe everything that she says and disregard anything else anyone ever says, and that's a problem.
It's very much so a team mentality, or has become a team mentality, and that's what George Washington really warned us about. I believe that political parties still have a place, so maybe I wouldn't go along with the direct words of what George Washington said in his farewell address.
Yeah.
But I do feel that his point was, if this becomes more of a game where it's party against party and you're going to go for your team no matter what, it kind of defeats the purpose of democracy. And, yeah.
And I mean, political parties are inevitable because people gravitate towards another group of people. It always happens. There's always groups of people forming no matter what. If you put 100 people in a room and tell them to talk to each other for 5 hours, you're going to find people in separate groups talking to each other.
Yeah,
I mean, that's going to happen. So now that it's inevitable that we have political parties, it takes away from the democracy aspect, but if you're going to have political parties, you need to have more choices than just two. Because, I mean, if you're not going to have complete democracy to the point where there's no political parties, at least do a little bit better than you're doing now.
And I think even just expanding it to 3 will do so much work for the debates in general, even just by themselves. I mean, I think it's perfectly reasonable to say that Gary Johnson will not be winning this election. I think that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We have to be confident, bro.
See, I guess this is maybe where I attempt to be realistic. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see it happen, and more than anything,
it's gonna happen. It will.
Okay, it's gonna happen.
There we go. That's what
but
I'm talking about.
what I was getting at is it's more him being on stage to kind of shake things up and get people's attention.
Hmm.
It may not happen this election, and in my opinion, it probably won't. But at least we can hope for in the next election, voting these people in.
If he does not get on the debate stage, I mean, like, look out for some viral Facebook video of me, like, streaking in the streets. Like, I'm being dead serious. I'm gonna be so livid because I've worked so hard on this, man.
I know you have. You've put in quite a bit of effort into this. And
But,
I
I mean,
guess I
I-
should have expanded on that as well.
I agree.
I do have previous campaign experience as well, not necessarily on the scale that Dylan or the Dylan Allman is doing his, but
Yeah.
work with local elections I also have experience with and helping politicians run for that.
Hmm. I agree with the whole even if he doesn't win, the whole fact of him getting on the debate stage and even the amount of popularity that he's gotten it to this point, it lets people know there's not only two options. There's more than just the two political parties. You can expand your mind than just being completely radical on both sides. There can be middle grounds. There can be people who worship cows. I mean, there's this wide range of things that people can view, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Absolutely, and I would completely agree with that.
Yeah, so kind of my background. I have not been extremely into politics until about the past year or so. I was really for Marco Rubio beginning the election.
Rubat.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. He was awesome. I loved him so much. I went to one of his rallies. It was great. I cried multiple times. I tweeted.
I remember
a lot
you were
about
really giddy for him for
it.
a while.
Yeah, I was.
Uncomfortably
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. I got undressed multiple times. See,
Oh my God.
Back to the beginning of the podcast when I said we kind of have to talk about the things that we've worked on, we've slept with, and showered with. I mean, that's. I'm sorry, that's totally off topic. But anyway, I was really for Marco Rubio, and then when he got defeated in the primaries, I was like, all right, well, I guess Ted Cruz. And then he got defeated in the primaries, and I was like, no, what do I do? Because I hate Hillary Clinton with a passion. I'm sure during these podcasts that will come out very clearly. So much.
Scarily.
Scarily, like, if you put me in the same room with, like, don't do that, because I would melt. And
Do you melt?
Yeah, she's like the water to my Wicked Witch of the West. No, she's the Wicked Witch. There we go. She's a witch. Okay. So, I decided I didn't like Donald Trump for good reasons. I didn't like Hillary Clinton for good reasons. And I was like, dude, I can't settle for this. And then I was like, wait, I remember growing up and my dad telling me about libertarians. What is that? So I started looking it up, and I was like, wait a second. I agree with nearly all of this, which is a lot more than I agreed with the other parties. And I was like, dude, this makes so much sense to me. Who is the nominee for this? Guess who it was? Gary
John Cena.
Gary freaking John Cena. Gary Johnson. And so I have been extensively reading about the subject and watching interviews and campaigning with him a lot. And so that's pretty much my backstory. I agree with the more of the, because there's like libertarians that are like radical anarchists, and then there's like the more moderate kind, which is Gary Johnson. And I identify with almost every single point that comes with the libertarian values of the moderate side. So it's pretty cool. That's me. It's my life. It's how I live.
You're pretty rad, dude, bro.
Rad dude, bro. And so that's me and Max have been friends for a very long time, and so we thought, since we had very similar views when it came to politics, that we would create this podcast titled...
Took you long enough to come around, man.
Titled The Liberty Bros.
AKA Lib Chat.
Where we chat about lib stuff.
Mad Libs.
Dude, that could be one of the segments. We could do a Mad Lib.
Mad Libs.
That'd be fun. Dude, that'd actually be kind of funny. Do like a political Mad Lib.
I forgot
anyway,
what Mad Libs are. Oh, yeah, those are
You
things you
seriously-
like fill in the blank with absurd stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of the titles on one I saw.
Absurd stuff.
Fill in. Or
Okay.
something like that. I don't know.
So
I'll shut up.
Pretty much, this podcast is going to be just us talking about current events and stuff like that with a
Libertarian
twist. And dude, I'm going to save that sound effect and start doing it.
Oh my god. Please
Okay,
do.
so-
I put in so much effort into that.
So we're gonna be talking about current events. I was thinking that there was some YouTube videos that I've seen where people have been answering questions for libertarians and stuff like that. I thought that would be some good topics for videos, and also to do fun things like a Mad Lib. Just throwing that out there.
Hey.
But I think that'd be fun.
And I'd imagine we'd be doing shorter segments, possibly more throughout the week. This one's extremely lengthy.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 10, 15-minute episodes of stuff that we talk about. I'm not really into the super long podcasts, because if I'm not going to listen to a podcast that's an hour long, I'm not going to try to make other people listen to it.
How about this? If you're listening this far into the podcast, if you DM me, I will personally Snapcash you $2.
Okay. I will make sure that everyone
this is only valid for the first 2 people that do this. This is the daily double. Okay, so I'm Snapcashing a total of $4, split in half, to 2 individuals who are listening this long, because this is my charity.
That's basically like a giveaway, dude. We're doing our first giveaway on the first episode.
Yeah. So and I will give you a shout out on Twitter.
Ooh.
And
that's a lot of people.
I'm sure the Dylan Allman will retweet it so everyone can see it. But
yeah. I love it when you like put words in my mouth. It's great.
It's yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so if you want $2 and a free double shout out for the daily double, you get $2 and 2 shout outs for 2 people.
Yep.
On a Tuesday.
In the club. Going up.
On a Tuesday.
Okay, so pretty much this podcast is going to be we've never done something like this, so it may take a little bit for it to be super coordinated, but we're going to do our best, and it's going to be a little bit laid back, not super professional, because that's hard for me to do. At least 100% of the time. I can definitely express my thoughts and opinions in a mature way, but jokes come often all over the face. Let me tell you.
All right. Let's 40 more seconds. Let's stop at 35 minutes.
Okay. So that was great. If you liked,
now that we've placed a time limit, now I'm just like just gonna stretch it out.
If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to the thing that this is on.
Yeah.
and like it, and make sure to follow each of us on Twitter at the Dylan Allman and at
Max Eckert. And make sure you DM me for your $2 and free double shout out for 2 of you.
yes, that would be great. And if you have any suggestions of what you may want us to talk about, or some topics, or an article you want us to talk about, or a list of questions, send it to us via Jeremiah Twitter, and we will get on that and write it.
Jeremiah
like
Twitter?
It's via Jeremiah. It's like a play on words. I'm basically a rapper. Just don't think about it. Okay.
Okay.
But that'll wrap up the first episode of the Liberty Boys, aka
Lib
Chat.
Chat.
And we will catch you on the lib side.
The fly, homie.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.